Am I the asshole for telling my daughter to cancel her marriage? I have a daughter, 27, who was with her boyfriend for 7 years and they got engaged not long ago, just a small party, not many guests. She always talks to me about how she loved him, how he always listens to he was made for her. I have agreed with her, since I found him to be a good-natured man. He was kind and humble and was always respectful to our family. We've met his parents for dinner twice or thrice and they hit me as a little sexist, asking questions to my wife like, "I don't know why you're working, isn't that the husband's job? It's the mother's job to be taking care of the children." Now that they wanted to make it more serious, they planned a marriage. Anyways, we have been planning about the marriage, and one day her boyfriend comes to me and says that his parents want to talk to me. I was going to call my daughter too, but he said that she wasn't allowed. I went with him and his parents started talking with me about dowry. I was confused and said that there was no dowry, and in 2020 who even gives dowry? But boyfriend and his parents started lecturing me about how necessary it was and how my daughter would be a stay-at-home wife. My daughter has told me that she wants to continue her dreams, so I don't know what this is. Anyways, they told me that I should give it a thought and told me not to tell my daughter for the time being. However, I immediately told my daughter about it, and she started crying saying she didn't know that her boyfriend was so sexist. She asked me what she could do now, and I told her that she wasn't being forced and could cancel her marriage if she didn't want it. Well, that is exactly what happened, and now her boyfriend and his parents are calling me saying I took away the love of his life, etc. On top of that, some of her friends, some were bridesmaids, said that I was an asshole for breaking up what would have been a healthy marriage, but it's my daughter's happiness that matters. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. You saved your daughter from a life of hell. Sorry she had to go through that though. I'm sure it was a shock to realize her ex and her almost-in-laws are misogynistic AHs. Hope she's doing okay. 7 years is a long time. How did this not ever come up before?
This story did not go how I predicted. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. This is the kind of parenting that the modern world needs. Supportive and caring but not afraid to step in when needed. Hope you and your daughter are okay.
The fuck? Absolutely, you are not the asshole for telling your daughter about this. Especially if her own values and beliefs lie outside of what her husband to be expected. If she's always had grand plans to have a career, a marriage to this man who expects the opposite was going to be nothing but heartache.
Not the asshole. You gave her advice, but, ultimately, it was her choice. Her ex-future husband seems like a very toxic and manipulative person. It is beyond bizarre that they would ask for a dowry, assuming you live in a Western country, as I know this is still common in some places. And it raises all sorts of alarm to me that he didn't want you to tell her about the dowry.
Not the asshole on 3 fronts. 1. You did not tell your daughter to cancel the wedding. You told her that if she did cancel the wedding, you would not think any less of her. That is a really important distinction. 2. That talk of a dowry is just ridiculous in a 21st century marriage that does not involve an exchange of lands or noble titles. 3. If they are going to demand a dowry, then at the very least their son should demonstrate he can provide for your daughter. Did he even do the courtesy of bringing a freshly hunted and killed elk or boar to the table in your great hall?
You did not break them up, that was the time-traveling boyfriend from the 18th century. Not the asshole.
That was not going to be a healthy marriage. Not the asshole. If the friends think the marriage is so healthy one of them can marry him. You did right by your daughter. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. You're just a good mom.
Not the asshole, you were looking after your child like a good father should. And that, healthy marriage comment. It's absolute BS. That would not have been healthy in any way, especially given that he was so sure that she's BASAHM while she wanted to continue working.
Not the asshole. As soon as they told you not to tell your daughter, that was a red flag the size of Alaska. You not only did the right thing, but you should be called a hero. It is inexcusable that her fiancé was not the one to tell her about this.
Your daughter needs new friends. Not the asshole, he was literally lying to trick her into a relationship with him. This is literally like one of those horror stories where the husband suddenly changes to be abusive after the marriage because they figure they can't leave now.
BF. I love and support you unconditionally. Also BF. Hey future Phil, I need you to pay me to take your daughter off your hands. After all, she won't be working, so she has no intrinsic worth. I'll be working, so obvs she will stay home and cater to my needs. No need to tell your daughter, though. She doesn't need to be involved in plans for her own future, that's what men are for. I've spent enough time listening to her frivolous little notions about equality and financial independence. Like any real woman actually wants that. Daughter dumps BF. BF. Surprised Pikachu face. Not the asshole. Thank goodness your daughter dumped him. That marriage would 100% have been abusive in one way or another.
What country are you from? Yeah, def not the asshole. Coming from a culture where dowries were used, I think it's safe to say it is not widely used and most often frowned upon. You bringing it to her attention is just saving her from a side of her boyfriend she had not seen before, which sounds like it would have been an even bigger problem later on had they gotten married. Good job looking out for her well-being. As a parent, I hope I can do the same when a touch decision like that needs to be made.
Not the asshole. You didn't break up a marriage, you gave your daughter honest information and she chose to leave him.
Not the asshole. If this didn't come up in 7 years, then imagine what other surprises lurk. Abuse, infidelity, financial control? You gave your daughter information she needed. They asked you not to tell her. Abusive people want others to keep their secrets of abuse.
Not the asshole. I don't even have words for this. Thankfully you found out what kind of people they are, and your daughter dodged a bullet. Out of interest, where do you live and what is your cultural background, and is the same as the ex and his family's?
Not the asshole. A dowry. What is this? 1650. Stay-at-home wives. What is this? The 1900s. You protected your daughter. Sounds like this guy's mind was poisoned by some sexist parents who don't think women can do anything. How he managed to hide this fact for 7 years is beyond me, but you did the right thing.
Da fuq is happening here.
Not the asshole. Sound like you did your daughter a huge favor. Good parent.
Not the asshole, and call me stupid, but what's dowry?
Not the asshole. You absolutely did the right thing protecting your daughter from this family. Plus, it was her decision, not yours.
Not the asshole. So they tried to extort you behind your daughter's back and planned to force her into giving up her job. Yikes.
Not the asshole. You were protecting your daughter from an unhappy marriage and sexist in-laws. NTA, they are already treating your daughter like she has neither a brain or a choice. Anyone coming into my family and trying to dictate what I can and cannot tell my daughter would be facing fire. You did what was best for your daughter. That's your job and you handled it well.
Not the asshole. Your daughter was being hoodwinked and you gave her sound advice, that she followed.
Not the asshole. You saved her future heartbreak. Didn't mean to be offensive or anything. Is the guy's parents Indians?
Not the asshole. Your daughter is a grown woman who made her own choice. The only thing you did was support her like a father should.
Not the asshole. You protected your daughter.
Not the asshole. Take the boy aside and see if he is being pressured by his parents to have these views.
Not the asshole. One of your jobs as a parent is looking out for the well-being of your kids. You did what was best for her. The only thing that really matters is that your daughter is happy with the outcome.
What's a dowry?
Not the asshole. That would most definitely have not been a healthy marriage. Her friends are delusional if they think that.
Not the asshole. The fact they specifically told you not to tell your daughter about this dowry shows they all knew it was a fucked up thing to ask for. You did right by telling her about it, and she was the one who decided not to go through with the marriage because of it. Your daughter isn't an item to be bought and sold, and I'm glad you and her both recognized that and got her out of that situation before it was too late. Not the asshole.
Info. Country this is taking place in.
Not the asshole. You're saving her from finding these things out after the wedding. Thank you for being a good parent and actually looking out for your daughter's best interests. This is one of the rare occasions when meddling in a 27-year-old daughter's life is truly appropriate and the right thing to do. Also, consider the source. The asshole comments are coming from some truly fucked up people. Their opinion does not matter. Hugs to your daughter.
I don't even know why you're asking. Are you really going to believe the judgment of people as sexist as them? Not the asshole. and I have a feeling her friends don't know the whole story. If they do, she needs to dump them too.
Not the asshole. Hell no, not the asshole. This sounds as though they were going to pressure her into a life that she doesn't want, and that is incredibly disgusting. Calling off the wedding was the right thing to do.
Her boyfriend and his parents are calling me saying I took away the love of his life, etc. If she was the love of his life, then he and his parents should have valued her more than a dowry. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. Proverbs chapter 31 verses 10 to 31. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. Thank you for protecting your daughter from a potentially abusive marriage.
Not the asshole. It's always bizarre to me that people try and blame others for the consequence to their own actions. Not the asshole. I'd want to know if someone asked my dad for a dowry. It's an outdated practice. The bridesmaids suck for blaming you, it's the husband and his family's fault. It's good she found out now. If my sister's husband or family asked for one, she wouldn't have gotten married. She even told us, she wasn't going to mention it, but if they did. She wanted to be made aware straight away.
Not the asshole for sure. Good looking out for your daughter. Those folks sound like they're living in the past. It's bad that they broke up, but that's on his family, not you.
Not the asshole. Like, you are the kind of person the future needs.
Not the asshole. You didn't tell her to do anything. You gave her the options and she escaped a toxic situation as a result.